Hello! It is too hot to film without the window open, so I'm sorry about that bird. It just keeps going. The bird doesn't seem to want to go anywhere, so we're just gonna have to deal with the bird. On one hand, I really hope that the microphone is picking up the bird so that I don't sound like I'm just talking nonsense. But on the other hand, I hope it doesn't pick up the bird so that the bird doesn't annoy you as much as the bird is annoying me. Anyway, today I am going to talk about all of the series that I have started and plan on continuing in 2023. We are just over halfway through the year, so it seems like a good place to review how many series I've started this year. I'm going to do like a companion video to this of the series that I've finished this year as well. But we're going to go through the books that start new series. Whether I've continued them so far this year, whether their sequels are not out yet, doesn't matter. If they are beginnings of series and I've started them this year, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, that's as much introduction as it needs. Let's get cracking. The first new series I started in 2023 is Godkiller by Hannah Craner. The sequel to this is not out yet, so I am up to date. It's a first book in a series. I liked this. I didn't love this. I think I ended up giving it 3 stars overall, but it is a debut, so I do have high hopes that the series will get better as it goes along. But I did like the world. I liked the premise of this. This one follows a young woman called Kissin who is a god killer. Her family, when she was younger, were kind of betrayed by gods, and she's now grown up to a point where she is a god killer by trade. She travels around and kills gods and enjoys doing it until she meets a small god called Skedi that she cannot kill because it has attached itself to a young noble girl. So there's a bit of a mystery as to why this god is attached to this young girl, but together with a disillusioned knight as well, the lot of them are travelling through the country and discovering like a rot at the centre of it and a bigger betrayal at the centre of everything that their kingdom kind of stands for. As I say, I didn't love this. I don't think it was fleshed out as much as I would have wanted it to be. I don't think there was enough explanation on how a lot of the gods worked and things like that. But it was a debut and I do hold out hope for the sequel, so I will be continuing this. Side note, this book is just gorgeous. Beautiful. Love it. The next one I have is Song of Silver Flame Like Night by Emily Wen Zhao. I read this in like an evening. I read this really quickly, and now looking back on it, there's a lot that I cannot remember about this book. I know it's about a young girl and a young boy, and there are colonizers coming for their land, and she joins his like military school, magic school. Zen is a practitioner, one of the fabled magicians of the Last Kingdom, whose abilities were rumored to be drawn from the demons they communed with. Magic believed to be long lost, magic believed to be hidden at all costs. Yes. She goes to join his like magic school, and she has a mark that was etched onto her by her mother in her like final moments. Her mother has passed, and she has a mysterious like mark burn into her, and it holds a secret and it holds a meaning, and she's trying to work out what that is. The blurb says both Lan and Zen, Lan being our female main character, have secrets buried deep within. Fate has connected them, but their destiny remains unwritten. Both hold the power to liberate their land, and both hold the power to destroy the world. The blurb makes it sound very YA, and you know what? Looking back on it, it was pretty YA. But I really liked the world and the gods. So, like, as the cover clearly shows you, we've got, like, the turtle and the white dragon and the firebird and the tiger. And, like, I just really enjoyed the Chinese mythology with the gods and demons and so on in this world. I enjoyed that a lot. I would probably need to reread this in order to continue on with the sequel, but I enjoyed this one enough that I think I would willingly do that, because there is definitely a lot that I cannot remember about this, but I would like to continue this series whenever the sequel comes out. I don't know when that is. Next up, I have Julia and the Shark by Kieran Millward Hargrave with Tom DeFreston. This book is just beautiful with the illustrations, and there's like vellum pages in here as well. Typically, I now won't be able to find a single one. Look at the yellow on that. That's gorgeous. Okay, here we go. Some of the vellum with the jacket. So it all like layers up the illustration. Oh, I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, this is about a young girl called Julia, and the summer she almost lost her mother in the hunt for a shark. It is incredibly emotional as a story, but also really nicely connected to nature. In terms of the series, I have read the sequel to this, which is Leia and the Blue Fox, which is... I'm not going to reach it all the way up there. So it's not like direct sequels, more like companion series, and that one follows a young girl and an adventure with her mother to find a blue fox. So it seems to be about these young kids and a parental figure finding something to do with nature and a reflection on what is happening to nature and stuff. This one focuses on the oceans, that one focuses on the Arctic and the Arctic foxes. Very beautifully written. Kieran Millward Hargrave is an incredible writer. Beautifully illustrated as well. Tom DeFreston, amazing. Together, these stories are just very emotional, heart-wrenching, but also a good time. I will say I enjoyed Julia more than I enjoyed Layla and the Blue Fox. No, yeah, this one got 4 stars from me, and then Layla got 3 stars. So I did like this one more, but I would definitely continue with the series with any more that come out from them. Next up is one that I'm really not going to talk about for very long, but it is Malevolent Seven by Sebastian de Castell. This is the start of a new series from him. I love this book. It's my favourite one of the year so far. I love Sebastian de Castell. He is my favourite writer. This is not a surprise. This is not a shocking thing on this list at all. I absolutely adore anything this man writes. This one is about a war mage called Cade, who once upon a time had a more nobler sounding job before he realised that the people that he worked for were not as noble as he thought they were, which led him down the route of becoming a war mage and doing some dangerous magics. And it will show you what a real war mage looks like. They are mean, they are selfish, and do they want to save the world? Who knows? I love it. Action-packed, full of magic, full of banter, in true Sebastian de Castell style. I adore it. Of course, I will continue it. The next one I started was Born by Jeff Vandermeer. This, I don't know if the series has a name, but we've got Born, and then there's a little novella in the middle called Strange Bird, and then there's Dead Astronauts. I have not read Dead Astronauts, but I've read Born and I've read Strange Bird, and I really enjoyed both of them. I'm very glad to have read them because this one had been on my shelf for so long as a previous DNF because I just wasn't in the mood. Jeff Vandermeer is very much for me one of those authors that I have to be in the mood for to enjoy because his writing is a bit weird, his stories are a bit bizarre, and this is no exception. This is about a creature, couldn't tell you what, a creature called Born who is picked up by a woman called Rachel, and they live in an almost post-apocalyptic world. The company, whoever the company is, the company has destroyed the land. People are scavenging to survive. There's a big flying bear that just happens to be around and a little creature called Born. Rachel takes Born in and Born grows and becomes something else. Don't really know how to explain this. At first, Born looks like nothing at all, a green lump that might be a discard from the company, but he reminds Rachel of her homeland, an island nation long lost to rising seas, and she prevents her lover, Wick, from rendering down Born as raw genetic material for the special kind of drugs he sells. Wick's hiding secrets, Rachel's hiding secrets, and what is Born? Very weird story, but I liked it. and I immediately continued on to Strange Bird, which is just a small novella, which was probably even weirder. But again, I really enjoyed, and I need to read Dead Astronauts as well. I do like Jeff Vandermeer's writing. Like, I've liked everything I've read from him. Hummingbird Salamander's probably my least favourite from him so far, but I am still keen to continue with this series and read Dead Astronauts and more of his stuff. The next series that I plan to continue is the Murderbot Diaries. I don't own these physically, so here is All Systems Red. I read the first 4 books of the Murderbot series in April. As far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, the Murderbot series was originally just these 4 books and has since been extended. I have put this on this list as to continue rather than completed, just on the basis that I haven't read those other 2 books. I am unsure if I will, or if I will leave it at this 4, because I'm quite content with where the story left there, and as far as I know, that's where it was originally going to end, so I may just leave it there, I may continue. But I enjoyed the Murderbot series. It was easy and quick to consume. I will say that I don't think they stand incredibly strongly on their own, but I read all 4 of them back to back, and I do think, like, as an overall story, it was quite good. Like, you could see the development in Murderbot's character more as, like, an overall story rather than just the individual pieces, I think. So that's how I would recommend reading them, if you cared to know. But I did enjoy them when I read them, so I don't know if I'll continue. Should I? Is it worth carrying on with the next couple? Let me know. Another one that I don't own physically is Off to Be the Wizard, which was just a fun time. I am currently not making any, like, true commitments to continuing, but I'm gonna put the option out there because I really enjoyed this. I had a fun time with it. It is about a man who discovers a file that holds the secrets to magic in the universe. He discovers that he can make himself a little bit taller, he can make himself a little bit richer, he can just affect reality by doing a little bit of sneaky coding in this file. And he ends up getting himself in a whole lot of trouble with this and having to banish himself to the medieval times by time travelling with this code. He ends up back in the time of Merlin and meets some other wizards and has to pass himself off as a wizard to keep himself out of trouble. It was mayhem. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I could see myself continuing if I needed, like, a light, fun audiobook pick or something. So I'm gonna leave the option on there, and also just wanted to mention it as well, in case you haven't heard of it. It was good fun. Next up on my list, I have The Adventures of Amina Alsarafi. I feel like I've spoken about this book a lot lately, so I don't want to talk too much more about it, but this is the first book in what I hope will be a series. I don't know, trilogy, duology, series, I don't know. There needs to be more of it though, about a legendary pirate captain called Amina Alsarafi. And this is her story told from her perspective, because if you're going to hear about the legends of Amina, you have to hear them from herself. The legends of what she got up to on the seas and how she comes to be back in a position where she's on the seas again, and the length she will go to protect her family and her crew, but also when a pirate captain is offered a particular piece of treasure or a particular amount of treasure, it can be tempting to anyone, and how does that temptation affect our heroine here, and her family and her crew as well. This was amazing. I love the world building. I love S.A. Chakraborty's writing and atmosphere building. I just love it. Can't wait to continue with more from this world. Need it immediately. Next up is another one that I feel like I've gone on about an awful lot, and that is The Art of Prophecy by Wesley Chu. This is just going to be a duology, so I will be finishing it this year. The sequel to this, The Art of Destiny, comes out, I believe, in September, so not actually that far away. I am so excited to conclude this. I love this book. I am so eager to reread it, and I only read it for the first time in April. But this is about a prophecy. The prophecy of a chosen hero to kill the king. But just because a prophecy chooses you as a hero, that doesn't mean that you are automatically a hero. It doesn't mean you don't have to put the work in. You still have to put the work in to become a chosen hero that you are prophesied to be. You don't just get everything handed to you on a silver platter. Or do you? And then what if the prophecy was wrong anyway and someone else fulfills your destiny? Where does that leave you? And where does that leave all of the people that have worshipped your existence as well? Good questions. So this follows Jean, who is the prophesized hero, and the teachers he has to help him become said hero. The blurb does mention it, so not a spoiler, that the prophecy is wrong. It's not just a question of what happens if it is wrong. The prophecy is wrong, and his destiny is fulfilled by someone else. So it's about Jean and his teachers and the people that have followed him and how that impacts their empire. I loved this so much. I desperately want to reread it and cannot wait for Art of Destiny and to see how it all wraps up in just 2 books. So there's not many duologies that I love, so I have high hopes for the Art of Destiny. Keep your fingers crossed for me. Next up is one that I actually wasn't too sure if I was going to continue or not, and that is Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This is the Crowns of Nyaxia series. So the sequel to this is something about stars and a king. Ashes? Ashes and a star-cursed king? Maybe? I read this one, was thoroughly surprised by how much I ended up enjoying it. I have a whole vlog dedicated to this one if you wanted to check out all my thoughts and feelings on that, because I did not anticipate liking it as much as I did. However, I also kind of had reserved myself to not continuing the series. I enjoyed this. It served its purpose. I wasn't going to continue. However, I have been told that I must. I'm putting it here. I have the sequel because CC can't be stopped and forcefully put it in my possession. So it looks like I don't have much of a choice but to continue at some point. When will I do that? I really don't know. Honestly, I was happy leaving it here. It's on the list now, so we're moving on. Next up is one that I absolutely loved, and I'm surprised is not on the completed list, to be honest, and that is Legacy of Ash by Matthew Ward. I have read Legacy of Ash. I have also read Legacy of Steel, and Legacy of Light has been on my TBR for the last couple of months, and I just have not had the time to get to it. And I am so upset about that, because I have been adoring this series, and I read this one and Legacy of Steel back to back. Again, there is a vlog about me reading those back to back, so I'll link that somewhere for you as well. And I won't talk about it too long because it's another one that I feel like I've spoken about an awful lot, but this is very, like, typically my cup of tea political fantasy with internal conflict between a council and a particular piece of their empire that they're kind of looking down upon, which is the South in this case. There was a rebellion down in the South, and the council now look down on the people of the South as less than them and less deserving, but they're so focused on this internal conflict that they don't pay enough attention to a bigger external threat from another kingdom that wants to invade. In this book, we have a lot of the, like, politics playing out. There is a horrific character in here who is just amazing to watch. Like, she's awful, but, like, just so incredible to read about because she's so awful. So there was a lot of politics in this one, and then in Legacy of Steel, we start to get a lot more of the magic of the world and how the gods play a role in the war and how the gods use certain people as their pawns and so on. Like, it gets so good. And I haven't read Light yet, and I really need to read Legacy of Light, so this one should be finished out pretty soon, maybe. Incredible. And then the last series that I have started this year, I'm actually surprised this list isn't longer. However, I'm not including DNF series and series that I have completely binged. But the next series I have started is One Piece. Again, there is a vlog dedicated to this. Honestly, it's like I vlog everything I do. There is a vlog dedicated to me reading the first 6 volumes of this. This is about Luffy, who wants to be king of the pirates, and he is a gum-gum man who has eaten the devil fruit that makes him super stretchy. It's fun. It's chaotic. It's honestly a bit more violent than I thought it was going to be. But I am excited to continue. I hope to do another vlog finishing out the East Blue saga, which I think is another 5 volumes. I will check that before I do the vlog, but I think it's the next 5, maybe 6. I'll check it before I do it, or if anyone here knows, feel free to let me know. But I enjoyed, had a fun time, plan to continue, end of story. There we go. I think if I've corrected countly, I think if I've counted correctly, that puts me at 12 new series that I've started this year that I plan to continue. As I say, there are other series that I have either read in their entirety this year or have started and DNF'd. I'm not going to talk about the DNFs, but there will be a companion video to this talking about all the series that I've either read in their entirety or like any final books of series that I've managed to complete out this year. So keep an eye out for that video to come. There we have it. I hope this has been somewhat interesting to you, to let you know what series I'm dipping my toes into. I hope you have enjoyed hanging out with me for a bit. If you have, give us a thumbs up, chat to me down below, all that good stuff. I hope you are having a wonderful day though, and I shall see you in whatever comes next. Bye!